Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Pour. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brian.
And Brian, I'm going to let you talk about this because this is your bottle, but I think people are going to recognize it.
Yeah, pretty recognizable bottle. One that I'm always hunting. Was down in Bardstown last weekend and was able to find this one. It's the barrel proof, the B524 batch. Just dropped, obviously, with the 5 standing for May, so it hadn't been out very long. Walked around the store, missed it, and then went outside. We were standing there, and my wife said, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna walk back in and look in there. So I went back in, found it, and saw it sitting there, and I thought, I gotta get that. So I grabbed it. They had this sitting there. They had the A124 also, and then they had Larceny A124 and B524. So I only got the one. I didn't want to blow my budget in the first 5 minutes of being in Bardstown, so I just got this one. But I did have a sip of it. It was really good stuff. It does come in. They dropped the 12-year-old age statement, but this is close. It's an 11-year, 2-month, so not too much under the 12-year, what it used to be. Comes in at 130.6 proof, so it packs a pretty good punch. So it's good stuff. I've been hearing good stuff about it, so glad I got my hands on it.
And what's the price? Is it
It was $69 at the distillery, so $74 with tax. 2
things about your story. It's just hard to believe that Brian Terrell would miss a barrel proof. I feel like you can smell it. And then second, that has to be one of the only examples where a husband is absolutely thrilled that his wife has to take a bathroom break and that you have to wait on her. So anyway, thanks, Patty.
Worked out well.
So let's nose this. It's basically classic bourbon, I think.
Yeah, it's got a strong oak smell.
Yeah. But
but not overbearing. But it's
oak,
it's there, spice, vanilla, caramel, everything you get on a Elijah Craig.
A classic bourbon.
I think they're pretty consistent on what they put out. Sometimes some batches are better than others. But usually they're all pretty good.
And usually, oddly enough, Elijah Craig doesn't match my palate that well. There's the
small batch or the standard
all of them, all of them, except for obviously the C923 that Fool here passed on that you have a bottle of is some of the best bourbon I've ever had. But this smells really good. It's touch of maple too, but let's see what it tastes like.
So it packs a punch.
It does.
And it rides all the way down your throat.
I can feel it here.
I haven't quite got the hug yet, but it's about right here right now.
I've got a little bit of a hug here.
Yeah, so it's definitely proofy.
It's there's a little bit of a darker flavor to it.
And it's actually
pretty dark itself. Yeah, I noticed that whenever we started. It's almost like looks like a maple syrup sitting in the glass here.
Fairly viscous. You're getting a lot of ethanol on the nose.
Yeah.
The proof.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong on the nose, but you get other elements too. So I mean, it's a
boy. That heat just like comes right out the back, and it's just like it sticks there. The finish on this really shines. It's still going, and it's kind of a nutty finish. And we've been talking about that lately. I've noticed on Heaven Hill products of being kind of nutty. Am I missing something? Like, is that a standard? Like everybody always says, Jim Beam's nutty and the Wild Turkey Funk. Is Heaven Hill known for being nutty?
I always get a nut from like an Evan Williams.
Okay, the Heaven Hill.
Right. I believe it's a common.
Okay.
I don't think it's the same as what you get, like what you get on a Jack Daniels or a Beam.
Yeah.
The nut.
I guess I just don't see a lot of people say that, like affiliate or associate. I don't know nuttiness with Heaven Hill, but I get nuttiness.
Is it more of an almond type nut?
Yeah.
Something that's a different taste profile.
Not peanut kind of thing.
Yeah, not a peanut.
And it's not bad. I like it. I mean, this is pretty good, especially for me. I'm not an Elijah Craig hater. It just doesn't line up with me all the time.
The one thing I would say, if you had the C923, it drinks so smooth that it was proofy, but it didn't drink the proof that it was. This one drinks the proof.
Yeah.
It's 130 and it drinks every bit of it.
It's pretty spicy.
Yeah, maybe even more than that.
It's got quite a bite.
Yeah, it's got a little bite to it, but if you like proof, I think you're really going to like it.
If you like heat, this is your jam. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you get. I mean, you get several elements out of it too. So
there's on the palate itself. There's caramel towards the front, which obviously being a bourbon, it's just kind of going to be caramel. And then it does. It's not overly oaky either.
No,
which
it's there, but it's not overly oaky.
Even though it's not like the 12-year and it's not as old as some of the previous releases, it's still 11 years 2 months.
It's a little dry on the front, a little chalky, and then it dies out and kind of goes down, and then it just coats all the way down your throat.
Right.
So it's a good experience.
It's certainly warm though. You have to like spice and you have to like a little bit of heat. But
which are things I typically.
But which are things that you gravitate towards?
Yeah, so that's definitely right in my wheelhouse.
Usually with me and Elijah Craig, there's a harsh woody note, and I don't know what that is or why, but I'm not experiencing that.
No, it's not overbearing. So there is an oak presence, but nothing overbearing.
And I think the proof, lends itself to the flavors. So I wouldn't go as far to say that it's completely balanced because there's a lot of heat with it, but it does lend to the flavor. So I like it.
And actually, now that I thought about it, I do have to correct myself. It was $74.99 that I paid for this plus tax. So it came in a little bit under $80 with tax. But still pretty good price. And that's another thing that with this bottle, the Larceny bottle, just Heaven Hill just does a great job of putting out quality, top shelf offerings at an affordable price.
Or at least reasonable.
Right.
It's not, some of the special releases from other distilleries, if they were this age and this proof, would be well over $100. I mean, probably in the 140s. So
sometimes like your Booker's, and it doesn't have an age statement near as high as this, and it's hot. In that same profile of what this would be, and you're going to pay $110, even if you just get it for retail price.
And this is more likely to be found on the shelf, even though they are only 3 a year and they are limited. You're going to see this a little bit more than you would at Booker's.
I think they've been. I don't know if they're producing more now than what they have been.
I think I talked to one of the reps that services our area. She's the Heaven Hill rep, and I think she said her distribution network had 526 cases.
Oh wow,
that's a lot of bourbon. There's a lot of high proof bourbon too. So, but I think this is one that I would buy as somebody who traditionally doesn't gravitate to Elijah Craig. I think I could see myself buying this. I've had other Elijah Craig barrel proofs that I think are better, but this one's pretty good.
Right. I would definitely, like I said, if I was looking for this, I'd buy it for what I paid for it. If I'd never had Elijah Craig and I saw this sitting on the shelf for $95, I'd probably pull the trigger on it. I think when I drank it, I would feel good about what I purchased. I wouldn't be upset. But wouldn't want to go over $100.
Yeah.
But in under $100, I think you're probably safe buying that, and you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah, and with this one, like I said, for me, the finish really shines. I think the finish is really, really good on this one. It's still lingering. I just took a sip. I don't know. I'll have to check the camera, see where we're at timestamp wise, but it's still going. It's still going. So that's great. Excellent. I appreciate you sharing this with me.
Yeah.
And as we close every single episode, when you're with your family and your friends, always share your whiskey.